Okay, good morning, everyone. Oh, she a chilly one this morning. Stunning though. Quick chat about leader wellbeing this morning, and how crucial it is. I'm hearing a lot of leaders, and have done for a long while now, with the change in the health and safety legislation, and a lot of talk and different interpretations around psychosocial safety. I'm hearing a lot of leaders and managers kind of go, "Well, that's really nice, but what about me? I'm looking after all of the employees and the people, but where do I fit in?" So I have three thoughts around that. First two are linked and fairly short. The very first one is, as a leader, you are also an employee. All of those supports that are available to the people in the organisation, and those supports that you refer people to, EAP as an example, those supports are also available to you. And as a leader, I tend to think that you have even more of a responsibility to avail yourself of those and to keep yourself as well as you can, particularly when there is this almost carer type aspect to your role now. The second part of that is, do it early. Almost 30 years I've worked now with people who have been unwell in some capacity, and I've worked with them in workplaces. And when people reach the point where they don't have a choice but to ask for help, um, these things have been going on for a long while. And a lot of us, we do the "it's okay, I can manage, I don't have time, my problem's not that bad when I look at other people around me. There's plenty of people going through worse stuff." And, all of that is most likely true, but it does not take away from your personal experience. So I would just say to that to pay attention to, when you're thriving at life, right? When things are going smoothly. And when things aren't going smoothly, your signs. Interrupted sleep, drinking more, being a little bit short and less patient with those people around you than you might choose to be normally. Pay attention to those signs. And if you feel things are a bit off track, and if there is help available to you, get it. Even if it's just one chat. It often helps just to soundboard and hear yourself speaking about these things, or to get another perspective. So I would just say use those supports earlier, wherever you can. And the main point of this video is why, excuse me, why leader wellbeing is so crucial. And I refer again to the health and safety legislation, and the responsibility to provide a psychologically and psychosocially safe workplace for our employees, for our people. I think it's important to remember staff and employees are people just like us. And so I have a leadership program that is founded on that. It's called Leading Wellbeings, and it's about wellbeing leadership. And it's founded on three main principles, or three main factors that over this long period of time now, I have seen and I believe are crucially important. And there's a lot of research to support it. Number one is the leaders having skills and knowledge. So we have a fantastic habit of identifying people in our business who are wonderful at the job that they do. And we go, "Oh my goodness, you're so amazing at this thing over here. You're smashing it. You're hitting all your KPIs. I'd love to promote you and give you this job over here that requires a completely different skill set. And, you'd better do well at it. I'm not exactly going to tell you how. There's a lot more responsibility. Um, and that's a tough gig. That is a tough gig. So having some skills and knowledge around leadership is crucial for a leader to be able to lead wellbeing well and to lead well. And I say lead well, as in coming from a place of wellness, lead well, as well as leading effectively. So that's number one, not in any order of priority though. Number two is having an understanding of what healthy work actually looks like. If you want to look up a little bit about that, you can check out the Future of Work Institute online, and in particular their Smart Work Design tool. Fantastic. So there are 5 elements to healthy work. And the very first thing that we tend to jump to, and that our people and employees tend to jump to when they're feeling overwhelmed or their well-being is suffering, is "I've got too much to do. There is too much on my plate. I cannot manage it. No human could do all of this stuff." And their first ask, and often our first response, "You're right, good morning, is to reduce workload. And the Future of Work Institute is a wonderful research body, and over between 4 and 10 decades of research has taught us that reducing workload is actually the least effective strategy we can use or deploy to boost employee well-being. It's actually the least effective. And what works a lot better is to leverage the other 4 elements of that smart work design. So that's worth having a look at. So understanding healthy work. And then the third aspect is what I'm talking about today, which is the leader's capacity to lead well. And that capacity essentially comes down to the personal resources, the energy, the appetite, to be able to notice what's going on around you, to identify what might be going on, to have the energy to have the conversations, and to actually look into that with people. So over the, again, almost 30 years or so of working in this area in some capacity or another, the most common things that I have found resoundingly over the time has been people either, when we have something going on that's big and stressful, tends to do this to us, right? So we can, I'll try and show you with the camera, we can kind of see what's going on around the thing, but mostly the thing is taking up our brain space. When we can look at our well-being and start to put things in perspective a little more, the thing is still there, but it moves a little further away. And look at the difference in the view and the vision and our perception of what's going on around us. It opens the world up just a little bit, considerably actually. And so most commonly leaders have not noticed what's going on, whether it be due to their own staff or pure workload, excuse me, or they've noticed it, but they didn't know what to do, so they've just kind of left it alone, or they didn't want to pry, or they've noticed it and misdiagnosed it. And so then as performance management issue, so this poor employee person who has already got stuff going on is now finding themselves going through a performance management process, which isn't the root cause of the problem. So rarely the root cause of the problem. I think I've seen it maybe, 2 or 3 times in all that time, where it's actually been someone who actually just doesn't care. Usually there's something else going on. What is the other thing? That they've noticed and they just don't have the time or the energy to do anything about it, and they just don't know where to start. So I think having some understanding of well-being, of your own well-being as a leader, helps you to have those personal resources. It also helps you to walk your talk, to model the kinds of well-being behaviours that we need our people to be undertaking. Yes, it's our responsibility to provide this safe workplace, but every one of us as individuals, employees, all people, also have a responsibility and accountability to ourselves to be doing as much as we can to mitigate those circumstances and to keep ourselves well. So when the leaders are undertaking those kinds of practices, that sets a really beautiful example for the people who report to them and work around them. So I will stop there. This is a long one this morning, but I do think this is important. And given the number of conversations that I've had recently and for a very, very long time, hopefully it resonates and helps some people. If I could give you one takeaway action today, for brevity, given the time, it would be find the one smallest possible action that you can take for yourself that moves you even a millimetre towards that state where you feel that your well-being is in a more positive place. And I mean, if you think you've gone small, go smaller still. If you're a betting person, you want this to be something you could bet your house on that you would be able to do over the next week or two, until you review it and either continue it or do something else. And the reason that I suggest this to people is because it builds confidence, it builds some momentum towards where you want to be eventually. And I think even more importantly, it's one less thing that we then have that we can put pressure on ourselves for and beat ourselves up about. You know how lovely it is when you get those little wins? Create those for yourself. Little tiny thing, and maybe just set 1, 2, 3 if you're comfortable, but super small. Do that for a week or 2, review it, see how you feel, see if you've been enjoying the thing. If not, choose something else that you get a little bit of something out of. It can be as simple as making sure that you have your, I know I reference this all the time, but your favourite cuppa each day. That you can just really breathe in and enjoy the scent of, and you can feel the warmth going down. I tell you, I'd appreciate that this morning. Whew! All right, so I will leave that with you. If you have any comments, please do add them below. Don't hesitate to reach out. Message me on LinkedIn if you like, or on whatever platform I am sharing this to today. And be well all. Look after yourselves. It's your oxygen mask. Okay, take care. Bye.